everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. The first thing I want to do on video 28 is wish everybody a happy 4th of July. I know this is the 3rd that I'm recording this, and you might see it on the evening of the 3rd, or you might see it tomorrow on the 4th. But whenever you see it, I hope you enjoy it. You'll be able to see what I have had going on over here, and I hope you find that interesting. I would like to wish everybody a happy 250th to United States of America. And one other thing I'd like to mention is that I yesterday finally got off my duff, and I know a lot of you guys, I've had guys comment to me before about going to the website to look for the new videos and the old videos in some kind of chronological order so they know where to go. Well, you'll be happy to know, for most of you, that on our website, when you click on the link down at the bottom, towards the bottom of the first page, to go look at the ACT, that I have updated all the videos for all the previous layouts, including the current layout. So now if you want to know, and I'm going to try and keep up with that this time, but I've updated all that stuff. I think all the links work to all the different videos, and I hope that helps you guys out figuring out what videos you want to look at and don't look at. But you can go to there and you can find them in order. So that being said, why don't we just get on with this? Okay guys, here we go. The work is beginning on the trestle that goes under the metal bridge. So I have to cut out some material. I wanted to see what was there, and there's what I got. Nothing. That's a good thing. So I'm going to start trying to make that fit there. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, gang. The pink foam you see is the pink foam backdrop, and the track down below there is the lower level. So I have to run something up at a slight angle there, or a shelf, to be able to utilize that area for scenery. Although if I look straight down, you can see that the straight through track is actually behind this. But I'm going to try and recess that in a little bit and take it all the way up to the top of the hill there. And I might even bring it over and tie it into this little place over here. But we'll see how it goes. But that's going to have to be reconfigured. So we're on our way. Okay, gang, here's a fit. Here's a picture of the fit of the trestle. I don't know what I'm going to do to it exactly for battle damage, but that's how it fits in there. And I have a bunch of pieces of it over here. So be it falling down or be it burned, it'll be there somehow. Now, where I've cut all this out right here is basically all going to be rock face. And the rock face is going to come down at a very slight angle until it gets to the bottom of the canyon. Then I'll blend all that scenery in behind there, and I'll mark along the back side of where the trestle goes, and I'll run the scenery down to that, try to blend that in and get it to work. Then I'll stick the trestle in, then I'll continue the scenery out here in front. But that's how we're doing it. Okay, gang, to make a base for the rock, I cut this piece of foam to fit in there, and I will be able to hot glue the rock to that. I do need to thin up the top of that foam some, but it'll work to hold the rock up while I get the rock glued in. And that's where I'm at right now. You can see that there's a line a pencil line down there where the edge of the bridge or the old trestle is. I'll leave a little bit of space there and then glue it in at the top, and we'll be off and running. Okay, everybody, this is what I've cobbled together for rock in the rock canyon so far. Of course, I have to plaster and blend, but that's a piece of cake. But kind of from layout level, this is about what it looks like here. And I had a plethora of rock, oops, that's trash. A plethora of rocks in different containers here that I had poured before, and rocks I took off the other layout. So I had a lot to choose from, a lot of them to hack up and cut up and get in there, and I decided to put some, make like a little canyon or a little crevice that goes right down there, and it would be the form for when the dirt slid away here. But anyway, that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. I had to take some trees out up there on top. They're laying down here. That's not a big problem. Here's a piece of foam I cut, which goes in the trash can. And there's my glue sticks and a bunch of strings from the hot glue. But anyway, I'm gonna, probably sometime today, I'm gonna start plastering this in. But let me just stick the trestle in there real quick and show you kind of how it's gonna look. Okay, so it's crooked, but that's kind of how the trestle will go. If I pick up the end of it, something like that. If you can picture that burnt and all that scenery tied into each other, and some of the burnt lumber laying down here at the bottom and so forth, it starts to make sense where we were going with this. But that's going to kind of be how it looks. Okay, gang. This is what I have so far. And I know it's just like the plaster and stuff. It just looks like a winter wonderland. Now, I haven't brought any of this plaster, well, with the exception of I had to use up some right there. I haven't brought any of it out to the front here because after I get that colored in the back, then I need to get the old trestle mounted under there. Once I get that done, then I can come out here forward a little bit. At least that's the way I'm planning on doing it. So, but there's what we have so far. And I think that if you look at it real close, I think the rock all blends together pretty well. If you can picture it all in one color. Okay, gang. Here's where we are right now. Of course, some of the paint is still wet. When it's not wet, I'll go back in there, and when it's all dried, I'll go back in there and put some thinned black on it and kind of weather it down a little bit, and then I'll highlight the rock faces, and that will be the background. Then I'll put some foliage around the edge, and you know the drill. Some foliage coming down that crack over there and stuff, but I don't know how worried I'm going to get about the foliage stuff until I get the trestle, the burned trestle in there. But this is where we're at right now. Still looks a little ugly because the paint's wet. Okay, gang, without the grass along the top and any foliage coming down the hills, which I haven't done over here yet, this is what the rock formation that forms the canyon looks like. And in theory, there's a crease that goes down right over there, and that would be the water trail that would go down there, and that has taken all this, the basic dirt off of it and left mostly rock. Once again, I don't have any of the stuff in front done, but I will stick the trestle back in and show you kind of what it looks like. I don't have it burnt yet, but let's see it again. It's kind of going to look like that if you can visualize it burnt and pieces laying all over the place down here. I'm hesitant to try burning it, but I think it's going to be inevitable. So, and then like I say, I've got pieces to go over there on the right hand side. All we have to do then is just blend this foreground turf down into this frontal area here. But that's kind of what you're going to see with a decrepit trestle underneath. Trestle underneath. And I hope you're enjoying this. Okay, everybody, I am going to hot glue that in place right there, and you can see the burnt remains of the trestle. I'm going to fill in dirt. Well, I'm going to fill in plaster around it once I get it glued in place, and then I'm going to bring all that scenery forward. Then I'm going to blacken up some of the earth down around the bottom of the trestle. And I have another piece over here, as I've told you before. I have this piece here, here, that I'm going to burn a little bit and then try to move it into position over there. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we're going to attempt to do it once I get that in place. But you can see, when we look at it real close, that it looks exactly what it should look like. So there's the scene of the burnt out trestle. At least mostly done, but we'll finish it up maybe in a day or so. Okay, what we're looking at here is the foreground tied in. That burned out trestle is pretty fragile. I'm going to have to try and figure out a way to stabilize that with some scenic cement or something. Drip it with scenic cement or something like that to kind of hold it together, because even just putting the plaster in there, I lost a few pieces of it. So we're going to figure out how to stabilize that once this plaster here gets hard, and then we can start coloring it in and blending it in and making it into a scene. Okay, gang, this is just an FYI. This black is the black wash I use on the rock. That is the colors I use on the rock. And I just put the Cool Whip container on there to at least hopefully make the color last. And I'm getting ready to apply it to the dry plaster over here. So we'll take a look at it in a minute. Okay, everybody. Here's the scene with a little bit of dry brushing done. Now all I got to do is put some ash and stuff down on the ground underneath there, get those pieces under there stabilized. Like I said, there's some charred pieces that I need to put back under there. I need to burn that and put that back under the right hand side over there. But you get the idea, and I'm really liking the way it looks. So just another step. I highlighted all the rock on this side. Okay, gang, the static grass obviously still wet, and I'll have to vacuum it up after. But I sprayed down the black that you see in there is Arizona rock powder black, and I think it makes good ash material. Like I say, none of it's dry yet, but I used a sprayer and I sprayed down all of the wood, burnt wood, with scenic cement. So that ought to give it some rigidity and make it stay in place pretty well. But anyway, I kind of like the result. And we'll take some more pictures of it when it's dry, of course. But there you have it. Well, everybody, hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you have a happy 4th, as I said at the beginning. And above all, be healthy, be safe, be happy, be careful with your fireworks, please. And I don't know what else I can tell you besides check out the vintage page. The stuff is going pretty fast on there now that the newsletters come out again. And so anyway, take a look there. I might be getting some more stuff on there in the near future, but we will see. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this one, and thanks for watching. I almost missed the camera there.